Ayanokoji Kiyotaka doesn't just see the world, he decodes it. While most people are lost in their own thoughts, he's quietly analyzing everything, from the subtle shifts in body language to the dynamics of every room he steps into. Now, while it's true that Ayanokoji is a fictional character, the skills he displays are anything but fantasy. The truth is, his level of observation is not only realistic, but also actually attainable in real life. And in this video, I'm going to break down the 4-level framework that will teach you exactly how to do it. But before we dive into the framework, we need to understand what makes Ayanokoji's observation skills so powerful in the first place. You see, most people think observation is simply about looking harder or paying more attention, but that's only the surface. True observation is about how you process information and connect seemingly unrelated dots. In contrast, the average person's mind is constantly cluttered with distractions, emotions, and biases. They walk into a room, and instead of processing what's actually happening, their brain fills in the gaps with assumptions. They see what they expect to see, not what's really there. This happens because our brains rely on heuristics, mental shortcuts that help us move quickly through life, but also create blind spots. Now, the framework I'm about to share is designed to strip away these blind spots by guiding you through a progression of skills. It includes 3 methods to enhance your perception, 2 strategies to decode nonverbal cues, 2 techniques to apply insights in dynamic situations, and, at the end of this video, you'll even learn how to use these skills to predict future scenarios. Also, a big thanks to Brilliant for sponsoring today's video. Level 1 is all about refining your ability to perceive the world accurately without distractions or distortions, which will set the groundwork for everything that follows. The foundation of this is active perception training. Here, one of the most effective techniques is the OODA loop, which was developed by military strategist John Boyd and used by fighter pilots to stay ahead of the enemy. OODA stands for observe, orient, decide, act, and applying it in everyday life is simpler than it sounds. When you enter a room, start by observing the environment without focusing on any one detail. Let your eyes move naturally. Orient yourself by noting the key elements: who is there, what they are doing, and how they are positioned. Then, decide on the most relevant information to focus on, and finally, act based on your observations. A practical way to train this is by playing situational awareness games like Spot the Difference, images, or practicing environmental scanning while walking through a crowded space. Another key part of active perception training is improving your peripheral awareness. Instead of locking your gaze on a single point, relax your focus, take in the entire scene, and try to notice movements at the edges of your vision, such as a person's body language shifting. However, all of this can be distorted if your emotions get in the way. That's why emotional detachment is a critical part of this level. A practical method to achieve this is through third-person framing. Whenever you find yourself in a situation where emotions might cloud your judgment, mentally step back and ask, what would a neutral third person notice here? Doing this regularly trains your mind to create psychological distance, which over time allows you to view situations more objectively. Now, these exercises might seem small, but if you practice them consistently, you'll start to notice a real difference in how much you pick up from your surroundings. Once you've built a clear and undistorted perception of your environment, the next step is to analyze and interpret what you observe. At this level, it's not just about seeing more, it's about making sense of what you see and using that information to your advantage. A practical starting point is proxemics, the study of spatial behavior developed by Edward Hall. Through observing how people position themselves, you can gain insights into social dynamics and unspoken intentions. For example, someone who consistently moves into others' personal space might be asserting dominance, while a person who maintains a larger distance could be showing submission or simply seeking comfort. You can practice this skill by watching how people interact in public places, like how individuals react when their space is invaded on a train. Another powerful tool in analytical processing is baseline tracking. Everyone has a natural rhythm to how they act, a baseline. By observing a person's normal patterns, you can spot anomalies, like a typically fidgety person who suddenly becomes still, which might indicate a heightened emotional state. But this is only half of level 2. The real advantage comes from the intentional analysis, where you start connecting the dots. Here, A game changer is to treat each observation as a piece of probabilistic evidence. Instead of jumping to conclusions, you update your understanding as new information comes in, which allows you to maintain mental flexibility and avoid confirmation bias. Other than that, you can also start cross-referencing verbal and nonverbal cues to detect inconsistencies. If someone is smiling, but their body language is defensive or their speech patterns are hesitant, it's a sign that their internal state doesn't match their outward expression. By mastering level 2, you won't just observe more, you'll understand more, which sets the stage for level 3, where you'll learn to apply these insights in dynamic real-world situations. One technique that can help you thrive in unpredictable situations is a concept inspired by Nassim Taleb and called anti-fragile observation. The idea is simple. Instead of avoiding chaos and conflict, you learn to use them to your advantage. When things get hectic, most people become reactive. They focus on getting through the situation. But if you can maintain a calm, observational mindset, you'll start to see opportunities where others see obstacles. For example, when a conversation takes an unexpected turn, or when tension rises in a room, shift your focus from what is happening to what it reveals. Pay attention to who steps up, who steps back, and how the dynamics shift. These moments of uncertainty are perfect for that, as they often reveal unspoken patterns. Another underrated tool is pattern interrupts. When situations become tense, introducing a disruption can create a moment of clarity and reset the flow of a situation to gain perspective. For instance, if a conversation is spiraling into negativity, introduce a neutral observation or ask an unexpected question like, "Can we look at this from a completely different angle?" Now, it's finally time for level 4. Level 4 is where everything comes together, turning your ability to observe, analyze, and apply insights into a tool for predicting future scenarios with precision. The essence of futurecasting lies in using the information you've gathered in the previous levels to map out potential outcomes. Instead of seeing each interaction as a standalone event, treat it as part of a broader chain of reactions. Every action you take has a ripple effect, and your goal is to understand how these ripples might play out. For example, if you've noticed someone who is defensive and tends to influence others, you can predict how they might react if a sensitive topic is introduced, and how their response could shift the group's dynamic. You might ask yourself, if I bring up this idea, how might it change the direction of the conversation? Or, what secondary effects could this trigger among others? Here, a practical approach is to mentally simulate at least 3 different scenarios, thinking through the best case, worst case, and most likely outcomes. This not only helps you stay prepared, but also allows you to adapt quickly if things take an unexpected turn. However, predicting outcomes is only half the battle. The final step in futurecasting is building operational feedback loops. This means consistently comparing your predictions to real-world outcomes. When a situation unfolds differently than expected, take a step back and analyze why. Did you miss a cue? Was there an assumption that led you astray? Like this, you build a self-correcting system that not only sharpens your predictive accuracy, but also continuously improves your observational and analytical skills. Now, if you want to take this mindset of constant improvement even further, today's sponsor Brilliant offers the perfect platform to sharpen your skills and keep leveling up. Brilliant is an interactive learning platform designed to make complex subjects like math, data analysis, programming, and AI not just understandable, but genuinely engaging. Instead of sitting through passive lectures, you get to actively solve problems, apply real-world scenarios, and challenge your mind every step of the way. It's the kind of learning that sticks, because you're not just memorizing information, you're actively engaging with it. Whether you want to develop a new skill, train your brain to think strategically, or simply explore complex topics in a more practical way, Brilliant offers thousands of lessons to help you grow faster and more effectively. On top of all that, their platform is also designed to be highly intuitive, guiding you through each topic with step-by-step exercises and visual explanations that make even the toughest concepts click. So, if you're ready to take your growth mindset to the next level, you can try everything Brilliant has to offer free for 30 days by visiting brilliant.org/methodicalmind or clicking the link in the description. Plus, you'll get 20% off an annual premium subscription. Alright, respect for watching all the way until the end. You got this, bro.